So in this lecture, I want to clarify some of the doubts which I have received from a few of you uh, in different times. So people have uh, somehow not able to. Sometimes they get confused in writing the criterias, and that's why somebody said that please tell us the step by step that if it is possible that I mean how we can do how basically we are trying to change the item sold for a zone uh, from the north zone, and the category has to be specifically uh, toys. So you are trying to change this value anything under the header called item sold, and you're not able to do it, and I've seen the code, so I'm going to discuss that. First of all, dear student, I like to go and show you the data frame. This is the same data frame we have used this previously also. So what actually you are trying to do in this is that you're trying to change the item sold of this header, but you don't want to change this for the entire the database, because you know that's very easy. We can simply say data frame under the scale brackets item sold equals to whatever, and the value will be changed for the entire column, right? But here we have criteria. Now what is the criteria? Here basically you want to do this change for only north zone, and not only the north zone, you want to actually go and use the category toys. So wherever the combination of toys and the zone north zone is there, we want to change this item sold to a number, let's say maybe 1000 for example. So in this particular case, let us again revise that how we can put the filters, and of course the problems which uh, some of you are facing. Okay, I'm glad that you asked this question. Your questions are always welcome. Okay, now you see, first of all, there are different ways of doing it. As you said that you want to do this step by step, and then if possible in one syntax also. Yes, we will first of all see that how actually we can go and do this step by step. Okay, step by step solution. If you remember that we have already discussed that anytime we can write the criterias, and in the criterias we can write whatever we want, right? We can put the filters in our database. So now this is our data frame, and in the data frame, as you said that you want the zone. Okay, so I'm going to write here the zone. So this is my zone and equals to east, right? This is the first criteria. And same way, there's another criteria which we want to write, criteria 2, and that criteria is on the category. Correct or not? Category toys, right? Now, this is where the doubt comes. Now, what happens if you go and print the criteria, any of the criteria, let's say, give it a try on the criteria 1. Please, first of all, understand that when I say criteria, I don't mean, I mean, this is some sort of a criteria. This is just a way of saying it, but this is actually the information which is going to come from this syntax. So if you want to check that what is the data type of this criteria, it's obviously going to be a data frame. So this is actually data frame, right? So this is going to hold the data, right? So if I run this, what do you think what is going to happen? First of all, I'll just like to see the type of this, the criteria 1. So it should be a data frame, isn't it? You know that, right? Look at this here. Now see this. It's not actually coming as a data frame. It's coming as a series. Well, series or data frame, right? But we should know that why it is actually showing us the series, because this is where some of you have couldn't understand the thing. So you see, one thing is clear that this is not just a simple variable. It holds a data, whether it is a series or data frame. In this case, it is a series, because the reason is that if you just want to go and see that what exactly is holding up in this criteria 1, let me show you. See this. So when I run this, guys, what happens, you get actually here the Boolean values. This is where students get confused that why they are not able to see the data which should actually show the north data. They are not seeing here the data. This is the different command. This is the entire data, right? I'm talking about this. You see, the problem is this, that when you go and write the criteria in this way, simply in this way, this always converts the values into true and false. so that you can, if you want to just simply go and cross check the things, you can do it. So similarly, if you print the criteria too, this will also show you the true and the false. Okay, but if you want to, let's say, use the data, the new data, which is east data, obviously you have to convert this into a data frame. I mean, in this way. So that's why you see the series there, because series always comprises one column. You remember, right? So we were having a one column which was giving us the true and the false, and this is a the by default label index. So this is never counted in the series or in any data frame. This is by default, right? So if you are interested in looking at the data, then you have to convert this into a in this way data frame. So basically the point is very simple, that you just have to go and put here the scale brackets like this. Okay, now if I run this print criteria one, we should not see the true and the false, but we should see the entire data, which actually gives us the east zone. Look at this. I hope this doubt is now clear. So it depends what you want to do. Okay, clear? Very simple thing you have to remember, that this is how the data frame will come, because maybe you like to use this somewhere, right? So if you're not going to use this data frame and then square brackets, then you won't be able to use the data, because that converts to a series. Now this is fine, right? Now, as we said that we are looking for both the combinations. Right now in this combination, it's only the east, right? If I show you here, it's only the east, and corresponding the categories, they are coming from all the sites, right? So how I can now go and club both the criteria, that's basically the point. Correct or not, right? So now what we can do is that we can actually go and use these criterias, and we should go and use these criterias in the other data frame. Okay, so the point is, so let me just keep this as it is, because I want to apply here the AND condition. So one way is that you can simply just go and say data frame equals to data frame, right? And then we can start writing here are the criterias. So for me, the criteria one is there, that, and then we will go and use the criteria called the criteria two. Is it correct or not, right? And if I try to print this data frame, then we should be able to see the east zone in the combination with the toys. I want to run this, and now we want to see that what exactly is going on here. Okay, and please remember the toys is in the capital. So if I now show you that this is basically your data, and this is what we actually wanted it, right? So first of all, the thing is that uh, because we are using the locator method, so by doing this we can easily go and pull out the data from the criteria, right? Now the point is that the second problem which came actually is that, now how will you make sure that this item sold has to be changed, right? You see, if I go and change this right over here, then the solution which we need, the real problem was that we have to go and do this in the main data, not in the new data, because in the new data you have only few of the rows where the criteria has met, right? But then if you go and change this, how will you make sure that this goes back to the original data, because in the original data there are other rows as well, isn't it? So that's why, guys, if you remember that we have discussed one thing, that whenever you are using locator method uses the index label always as a row section, right? Or you can use the criteria which we are using in this case. So we can clearly go and say here that, okay, so basically now what we want is that we want item sold, the data. This is what we want. This is exactly the data we want, and this data has to be now equals to something, which is 1000, for example. Now, the thing is that if you go and run this, this is what you will get, right? And we are seeing here only the item sold value, correct or not? So the point is very simple, that now using the locator method, we are targeting the row section and we are targeting the column section, as simple as that. So now if I go and run this command, we should be able to do the changes in the real data. And please remember that because we are providing the value here equals to, so there is already equals to here, so I have to remove this, because right now we are simply saying, we are not pulling the data, we are simply saying that you have to go and find out wherever the item sold field is, and based on the east and the toy, the criteria, you have to go and change the values of those particular rows, right? So finally, when I will see the real data frame, the original data frame, this change should have happened, right? So if now I run this, let's see that we will see the entire data as you can see here, and you can see that the toys category for the east zone is changed to 1000, right? And if we go above, let's say, you can see that this is not changed because this is a wheeler category under the north zone, so nothing has happened here, right? So let's go above, and here also let's see that what is happening. So let's go and check the data. So you can see here that under the east zone, wherever we have that the toys category, the data is changed. Look at this, 1000 is coming, right? And anywhere where we have a different category from the east zone, the numbers are not changed. You got the point? Okay, so this is what you need to always remember, that do you want true false, do you want the entire data, and if you want to change a value something, then obviously you need to provide a location of that particular column or that particular cell, isn't it? So that's why we are using the locator method with the criteria. Okay, we have seen that in the locator method we can provide these 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 as a we can use these index labels also, right? By default index labels to go to any particular row, but in this case it's not about row, it's about a criteria, because all the rows are, we don't know where are those rows where the zone is east and the category is the toys. Okay, so that's, I hope now I'm able to give you the this understanding. I hope the doubts are clear. Now the next thing which you have asked, that step by step, so this is a step by step uh, the solution, right? But now once you have the practice on these things, so you can directly also go and write everything in a, single syntax. So how you can do that? So single syntax for this, well, it's very simple. You see, when you're using actually this when you're going in inside the this locator, you know that before the comma there is a row, and after the column there is a after the comma there is a column. So item sold is already, we know that this is what we want to change, right? Obviously the column which you want to change, that actually goes here, right? So this goes like this, 1000. So here now it you instead of writing these different here of the series like criteria 1 and criteria 2, you can also directly go and write these syntaxes right over here, which is also fine, right? So for example, what you can, because we are writing the and condition, so you want to copy this, you can copy this. Otherwise you can directly also start that, okay, so my zone actually equals to east, and then you go and use the and operator. And please remember that when we are using the and condition, we must go and put these in the open and closing parentheses, so that all the conditions will look like this, okay, separate. So then we have the category. Now in the category we will go and write equals to toys. Okay, this is what we will go and do it. This is what we will go and do it, like this, like this. Okay, so if I go and run this, this should also be same as, this should work equally as this condition was working. Okay, once again we can go through this and we can quickly see that what exactly we are doing. So this entire is a criteria section basically, which will we are passing in the row parameter of this locator method, and this we don't have to do anything over here because this is just a column. All right, so now if I go and say that, okay, I want to print this, the data frame, let's see that if we are able to do this or not. So there we go, unterminated string. I think okay, yeah, so this double quote actually was left. Let's go and run this again. Yeah, so fine, so this output is ready. Okay, and we can see the values are also coming. Okay, so it's up to you. If your fundamentals are clear, you can always shape up the data the way you want. So as I said that previously also, I prefer this way because this makes me more comfortable, especially when I have 4 or 5 criteria, so I can quickly go and change the criteria here. This is also very advantageous for you in case if you want to change the criteria later on, so you just need to go and tweak the changes over here. You need to tweak that particular data here, and that's it. Because in this line, if I go and start searching, where exactly is that the change I wanted, so for me, I think if there are 5 6 conditions here, I will not prefer writing in this way. I will prefer that I can just write down the steps, and in case if in future I have to change it, I can change it. So I hope now once again this particular thing is clear, and you can let me know in case if you still find any problems. No problem. Thank you.